What is going on, Rise of Kingdoms fans? Wispy here, and today I want to talk about two commanders that you can actually no longer get in the game. Um, I don't know why you can't get them anymore. I've tried to look into it on why you can't get these commanders anymore, and I think it's kind of a little weird because you had to actually buy these commanders to unlock them. And ever since the event ended, you can no longer get them anymore. And the commanders I'm talking about are LuBu as well as Diaochan. Now, about I think November 20th last year or so we're coming up on a year that they released these commanders. There was a lot of free to play and players of that nature that were making a lot of noise saying, hey, we want a pair of commanders that work well together that aren't both legendary. So we want a legendary commander and an epic commander that works well together, that are designed to be together, kind of like a Attila Takeda, but I mean, obviously it's not freaking, you know what I'm saying, but just where you can pair a legendary with an epic and like they go together, so they don't have to work on two legendary commanders. And so Rise of Kingdoms, they released LuBu and Diaochan for they had the Destiny Warriors event, and it was like every couple weeks over the course of several months you could buy the bundles and you could get more sculptures, and I purchased all of those bundles, and when the event ended I was only able to get them to 5-1. Now don't get me wrong, this isn't a video saying, man, these commanders are OP, like why the hell can't we get them anymore. I just find it extremely strange that they released these two commanders. You had to pay for them to unlock them, like a Minamoto or a Hannibal Barca, and then you never heard of these commanders again. Like, people were like, oh, when the event ends, they're probably going to put them in gold keys. They're probably going to put LuBu and Diaochan in the gold keys. So if you don't unlock them, it's okay. Like, you'll be able to get them through gold keys. Well, guess what? You can't. All right, they're not here. Okay, they're not in gold keys. And another thing that people theorized was that they would be where Ethel fled. So LuBu would replace Ethelfled. So like if you had Ethelfled maxed, you could switch it to LuBu, and that's how you could get like LuBu. You could get them through the expedition shop. Guess what? That never freaking happened. So I looked up on Google, I looked everywhere, and basically with the one singular question in mind, what happened to LuBu and Diaochan in Rise of Kingdoms? And there's no answer. All I got was tons of like testing videos and like LuBu, like fan Wikipedia stuff. So I could not find an answer. So if any of you guys have any insight somehow of what happened, let me know in the comments below, because I just really want to know, because I find it really, really strange that two commanders that you actually had to purchase are no longer in the game. Like there's no way to get them. So the thing was, when they released these commanders, they're not like world beaters, so they had them to where you could use them as early as KVK 1. And LuBu is a conquering commander, and so this was supposed to address possibly like KVK 1 not having tons of like OP rally meta commanders. Now, outside of KVK 1, I don't really think LuBu would be like that useful, but I mean, he's not terrible. He is a legendary, so like he's not that bad. Like the damage factor is pretty bad, but the 40% defense reduction is pretty good. That could be pretty beast in KVK1. I mean, you don't really have any garrison in that KVK to combat 40% defense reduction. It's pretty solid. You get the 10% increased attack when attacking cities. See, this isn't even garrisons, it's just cities. This is kind of where it falls off for him. Is it's just cities. It's not garrisons or passes or just garrisons in general. It's just cities, which is kind of weird because I mean, who wants to specialize in a rally commander but only hit cities? You want to be able to hit all structures. Now, this is they go together because the skills, it says attack increased by 120% with Diaochan compared to 80% without Diaochan. So that's a 40% increase of attack, which is pretty, like most legendary commanders, that's one skill, increased attack by 40%. Well, he's getting 120% with Diaochan, which is pretty good. Now, like this was what was really attractive because troop capacity bonus 10%, which means, you know, open field, pretty solid in a rally. Do you really want to throw more of your troops in there? It doesn't really matter. But the rallied army capacity, which means your rally in general was increased by 10%. Now, remember, I'm talking about using this in KVK1 because when they released these commanders, they said you could use them in KVK1. So you're increasing your rally capacity in KVK1, which is really solid by 10%. Now, he does get a little AoE, and the damage is increased to 1,000 with the expertise. So, like, not world beater. Don't get me wrong. It's not world beater. But for, imagine, KVK1, Diaochan LuBu, not terrible. Like, Diaochan was, like, heralded as the next Sun Tzu. You know what I'm saying? Because Sun Tzu you could pair with so many legendary commanders. He's so universal. Well, Diaochan was supposed to be the new version of Sun Tzu. The only main difference is she doesn't do AoE, but she does a ton of freaking damage for an epic. Like, there are legendaries that don't do the amount of damage that Diaochan does. So for the next 4 seconds, she has a 100% chance to deal direct damage by 400. That's 1,600 damage factor to a single target. Now, her downfall is it's not AoE, but that's more damage than Sun Tzu. It's pretty good freaking damage. This is the peacekeeping. Like, that's not really going to benefit you except for hitting barbs and stuff. Now, this is what is really amazing for an epic. Okay, it's 20% of stats, which there are epics that give 20% of stats, but it doesn't specify any troop type. So that's why people were saying she's like a second coming of Sun Tzu. You could pair her with anybody. It just happens to be that their skills with her and LuBu together just make them more powerful. So her final skill gives 500 healing, but it goes to 1,000 when paired with LuBu. And it's after every skill is used. So every time a skill is fired, you're going to get that 1,000 heal compared to some legendaries like Frederick the First. He only has 10% chance to do 1,000. So it's the same 1,000, but Diaochan guarantees you get that 1,000 heal. Frederick, only 10% chance. Same thing with Tao Tao. Same skill, but only 10% chance to get it. So you see what I'm saying? They're not world beaters, but they also weren't god awful. And don't look at this as like, if you're later in the game, like, God, that's a horrible pair, I would never use that. Imagine you're in KVK1. You would be using LuBu and Diaochan. Like, don't lie. Okay, people were using Hannibal Barca and KVK1 and beast moding with them, and just imagine the amount of damage that Wales would do with LuBu and Diaochan. And plus, like, Diaochan is literally, whether you want to admit it or not, she's an amazing epic. Okay, like, you could pair Sun Tzu with hell, maybe Richard or something like that, and Diaochan with Charles Martel if you don't have a YSG or something like that. Like, not terrible. So I just wanted to make this video because I found it very odd that they released two commanders that A, you had to purchase, and B, there's no other way to get them. Like, all those kingdoms that came after that event, that those servers that started after that event, I don't think they can get their hands on these commanders at all. I think Lilith just forgot about these commanders, honestly. All right, well, I'm going to leave it here. Let me know what you guys think. I'm sure you guys don't really care because they're not super OP commanders, but I'm sure you have to admit it's really odd that they just forgot about them, which is weird for a game. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. But until next time, I'm Wispy Gaming. I'll catch you guys in the next video.